We are constantly trying to understand human behavior. Why did they do that? Why did they stay? Why did they hurt him, her, it? And psychology shows that human behavior is influenced, triggered, motivated by things that may be innate or external to the individual. And today we are going to lean on the work of Alfred Adler. And he talks about what drives human behavior. What is it that motivates somebody to hurt, to hide, to heal? Why do some people go out of their way to be kind and tolerant and resilient, whilst others break down, explode, or really fail to show up in accordance to social expectations, even when it's favorable to them to do so? Okay, what are the psychological theories that underpin this thinking, this acting, this being? According to Alfred Adler, we human beings are driven by a sense of belonging, a need for connection. So what are some of the key concepts of Alfred Adler's work? Inferiority complex. Human beings are born vulnerable, weak, reliant completely on their caregivers throughout our early years into adolescence. Our caregivers and those around us are perceived by us as better than us, bigger than us, powerful, wealthy, because they have what we need to grow. We start off as inferior human beings by virtue of birth, vulnerability, and really that emptiness and reliance completely on caregivers, soaking in what they provide to us as nutrition and information and socialization, because we don't know better. So we listen and we learn and we rely on those that we perceive to be bigger and powerful and better than us. And so by virtue of birth alone, we come into the world vulnerable. Another concept of Alfred Adler is superiority complex. And this can also be seen on two folds. It can be healthy superiority, in which case you are trying to improve your previous identity. You're trying to drive yourself out of negative circumstances, elevate your life to a better position by learning skills, new ways of doing things, trying to cope with your past failures, and therefore elevate yourself to a better situation as an individual. And that's the big difference in terms of where superiority is healthy and where it is unhealthy. When you use that status to mock, to put people down, to compete, and to drive other people's lives negatively, it becomes unhealthy. Alternatively, if it's your journey of life from birth, gaining skills, gaining relationships, connections, wealth, bringing your identity to a better position, leaving that vulnerability of childhood behind, gaining your independence, and potentially caring for those people who cared for you at the beginning of your life, then you are following the genuine journey of life and growing as an individual. And that is a healthy way of embodying superiority. Another interesting theory by Alfred Adler is the birth order theory. It is said by psychologists that every child born within a family has a certain personality by virtue of the position of birth within the family. So there's the first child syndrome, the last child syndrome. the middle child syndrome, and the only child syndrome. And I bet you have your own experiences or myths or thoughts of how each one of these children behaves. Like, how does the first child behave when they are the only child in that family? They are parented differently. They experience your parents differently from the way the second or third or fourth or fifth child experiences those parents within that family. The middle child already has an older sibling to look up to copy from, or they develop their own personality. Parents have already made some mistakes with the first child that they possibly correct with the second child, but they also have another child to deal with when the second child comes. And the last child has their own personality. They generally are seen to be spoiled. They are cheeky, but also very independent because they have a whole host of knowledge and siblings to learn from, but they also have to fight for attention and affection and position within that family. And the only child, well, something they are spoiled, something they are raised to be the perfect child. And I think it depends on the family, it depends on the child, it depends on a whole host of other circumstances. But psychologists are saying that just by virtue of your birth, in terms of first, second, third positions within a family, you come to develop a certain personality that influences your character, that may determine whether or not you feel superior or inferior in self or compared to siblings. And all of that affects your behavior. It affects your sense of self. It affects how you integrate within the family, let alone other social, employment, and romantic relationships. What are some of the causes of inferiority complex? Sometimes parenting. Your caregivers could make you feel unworthy, inadequate in the way they praise other children over you, in the way they break down your spirit and make you feel dumb and really worthless within the family, even with their best interests. Sometimes expectations are so high that failing to meet them makes you feel less than good enough. And sometimes neglectful parenting makes you lack affection and attention, and these can make you feel unloved and unworthy. In other cases, those feelings come from external treatment like bullying, discrimination, hate, health, and personal vulnerabilities can also make you feel less than good enough, depending on how persistently exposed you are to such negative expectations and definitions of you. What are the signs that you are experiencing inferiority complex? How can you tell that you embody this characteristic? Self-criticism is always a big giveaway. How you think about yourself, how you see you, how you talk to you, and how readily would you say those exact things to a friend or a lover if they were to make the same mistakes or lose the same things that you criticize yourself for. Other giveaways that you are experiencing inferiority complex is experiences of perfectionism. Finally, how can you resolve feelings of inferiority? What does that stimuli or trigger bring out of you? Is it shame? Is it pain? Is it hate? And only by recognizing these two things side by side within your awareness in terms of this triggers me and this is how my shame or my insecurity manifests, and therefore this is how my understanding of that situation of stimulus and response can lead me to taking control of it and reacting or responding differently to that in the future. Avoid comparison. all that glitters is not gold, and everyone is different. Let your life unfold naturally when you appreciate the journey of becoming and overcoming. When you are looking down the valley from that mountain, praising yourself for every step that you took to get you that high, that is how you become superior to the haters, but most importantly, to the older version of yourself, without letting other people drive your intentions. I hope you found this useful, and if so, please share with other people. And even if you didn't find it useful, please do share it with your network, because you never know who is waiting for this reminder, this lesson, or just this theory today. Are you a first child? Are you a last child? Are you a middle child? Are you an only child? And does it make any difference, do you think, in terms of your behavior, your personality, and how you feel the treatment of other people within your family and your circle makes you feel about yourself?